You already know what time it is, baby. What on this workout time? Let's go! All right. So it's backpack day. Already got it on and I'm ready to go. So, you know how it goes with backpack day? 20 minutes of exercise, baby. Today we're going to crack the legs. You got 5 rounds, 16 different moves each round, 15 seconds a pop in between each round. And today we're going to do our B vitamin summary at the end. So stay tuned if you want to hear the sum up of that. Whether you've heard all the past few days we've talked about each one or not, it's going to be some cool stuff. So we'll hit the big points and let's get through the moves here and get ready to go. Before we do though, I recommend about 30% of your body weight. So heavy today. It's the legs, big muscle groups, right? If you feel advanced, 30%. If you're, newer to this, newer to working out in general, go about half that, okay? But even for you advanced people, let's take some weight out after the first round. If you start to, get a little shaky, if the form starts to go, we're going to be careful on the knees and the joints, right? No hopping around, anything like that. Because there's a lot of weight here. What's up? Thanks for tuning in. What up, Speed NJ? Sajid NJ. How you doing? What up, man? How you doing? Thanks for tuning in. All right. First up, pulse squat levels. And these, we are in a squat stance. I'm very comfortable in a wide squat stance. You do it how you want to. You could be tighter if you want. But the common denominator is our back is arched, right? So you're going to squat down and you're going to pulse. A little higher, pulse, then down, pulse, pulse, pulse. We're going to try not to break 90 degrees today on the squats, right? And you know the expression, probably ask the grass, right? Get deep on the squats, but it's very hard on the knees. And we're not going to be hard on the knees, right? We're going to work smart today. So we're going to get a great workout, but please try not to go past 90 degrees. You don't need to for this to get a great workout, okay? Pulse squat levels. Front lunge, back lunge is next. So front lunge. You're going to come reset. Back lunge. Reset, all right? Front lunge, back lunge. We might just go straight front lunges on one leg. We'll see how we're feeling. Then we'll hit the other side, next 15. Lunge walks. You're lunging and walking, people. So it's a lunge, set, lunge, set. After that, it says plus pulse on the menu, if you saw that. So it's going to be a lunge walk with pulse, right? So I'll start back here. You can see better. So you're going to walk, lunge, pulse, set, pulse, set, okay? Lunge walks with a pulse, Egyptian squats. I just call them that because we're like this, like out. Reminds me of like Sphinx times and stuff, ancient Egyptians. So usually we do them on our toes, right? And we go really deep. We're going to be wide. Our feet are pointing out. Do what you want with your hands. I just have fun doing that. And you're coming down and up. Egyptian. Again, don't go past 90 today. Egyptian squat. Bada bang, bada boom. Pose. Squat lunge walks is next. Or next. So you're going to lunge. Here, squat. Lunge other leg, squat. Lunge, squat, walks. Then we'll do the same thing with the pulse. You know how it rolls with the pulse? Just a little tss, tss with each one, all right? Sumo squat. Ooga, ooga. Ah. Sumo squat. Sumo squat. Nice wide stance. Cardinal squats. We've done them without weight. We've never done a lot of these with weight, so we'll see how it goes. My first time trying it too. So a cardinal squat, you're on one leg, and you are tapping the other foot in all the cardinal directions. This is holding about a 3/4 to 90-degree squat, okay? Cardinal squats. Next 15, we'll rock that other side out. Side lunge we've done. We're going to start off to the side. Come. Lunge. Back. Lunge. Hammer one leg for 15, and then, you guessed it, other side. Step back squats. You're stepping back at an angle, okay? So like this, and squatting. It's kind of like a step back lunge, really. And squatting, okay, on that one leg. Step back, squats. Rotating side to side. And side step squat. We've done many a times. Side step, tight squat. Side step, tight squat. And last but not least, squat pulse. Pure pulse, holding around 90, pulsing. And those are your moves for today. What's up, Natty Nat? How you doing? Hey, what up, Kavashia? How you doing? Thanks for tuning in. Wizard of Oz, what's going on? You got about 1 minute. We'll kick it off here. Stay tuned to hear about B vitamins at the end. Summary today. Good stuff. Again, you're aiming for around 30% of your body weight if you feel advanced today, right? Be careful though. We don't want to hurt the knees or anything, so I encourage you to go slow throughout these. This is not a cardio day, this is a toning day. Okay, we did our cardio yesterday, and we're gonna hit the core tomorrow, all right? So please keep that in mind. Under control, slowly. Pull squat levels to start. Get those legs warm and burning early. That's for damn sure, I can imagine. Probably got 25 seconds. Squat, pulse, pulse, pulse up high, lower, lower, lowest. Stay down there, up a little bit, up a little more, down, down. Front lunge, back to center, back lunge, front, back, front, other way. And bring it back, lunge walks. Now the pulse. Step forward. Pulse. 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 One more. Pulse. Egyptian squats. Feet pointed out. Egyptian squats. Squat, lunge, walk. You're gonna lunge. Squat. Lunge. Squat. Lunge. Same thing with a pulse. Lunge. Pulse. Pulse on the squat. Pulse. Do them again. Those are great. Lunge. Pulse. Squat pulse. Pulse. Squat pulse. Give me them one more time. We're replacing cardinal squats. Pulse, pulse, pulse. We improv sometimes. That's how we roll. Sumo squat. Hooga, hooga. Yeah. Side lunge. You're coming over. Side lunge. Stay on this side. Step back squats. Stepping behind at an angle. Side step, tight squat. Side step, tight. Squat pulse. Oh my God. It's gonna be tough today. Feeling it already. Oh. One down. Yeah. I know, yeah. Wow. My legs. That's just one. That's fine. Feel the burn, baby. Woo! If you need to take some weight out, take it out. I'm going to try it again with this. Pulse squat levels first. Don't break 90. And you're down. Pulse, 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 pulse up, pulse, pulse. Give me some front lunges. No back lunge this time. We're going to hammer one leg at a time. Other side. Lunge walks. With a pulse. Egyptian squat. Point the toes out. Do what you want with your arms. Toes are pointed laterally. Because it's Egyptian squat. Squat, lunge, walk. Lunge. Squat. Lunge. Squat. Lunge. Squat. Go back. Do it with a pulse. Lunge. Squat. Pulse. Lunge. Squat. Turn around, do it again. Lunge. Pulse. 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 Sumos. Let's see if we can do them. Cardinal. Oh my God. Tapping. All four cardinal directions. Other side. Side lunge. We'll start with that other side this time. And going the other way. Step back. Squats. Squat pulse. Up and down pulse. Two down. Both squat levels first. Pulse, pulse, pulse. Lower, lower yet. 90, 90. A little higher, a little higher. Front lunge. Back lunge. Front lunge. Back lunge. Front lunge. Other leg. Moving. Front. Lunge walks. Go back. Pulse. 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 Egyptian. Lunge. Squat. Lunge. Squat. Lunge. Squat. Now with a pulse. Lunge. Squat. Lunge. Squat. Cardinal squat. Good job, guys. Other side. Sumo squat. squat. Side lunge. Give me 4. Other side. Step back. Squat. Side step. Squat. Get in a squat. Pulse. Pulse. What up, Bertha Flores? Yeah, guys. Thanks. We're feeling it. We are burning. Woo! Oh boy. If you need to take weight out of your backpack, please do. And pull squat levels. A little higher, a little higher, a little lower, little lower, little lower. Stay there. Up a little more, up a little more. Keep going. Rotate front lunges. Nice and deep. Lunge walks, people. Go back, pulse. Go a lunge squat. Lunge, squat. Lunge, squat. Yeah. Lunge, squat. Go back with a pulse. Lunge, yeah, squat. Yeah, yeah. Lunge, yeah, yeah, squat. Yeah. Egyptian squat. Feet pointed out. Again. Cardinal squat. Oh my God. Other leg. Side lunge. Oh. Oh. Other side. Yeah. Yeah. Step back. Squat. Under control. Do your best. Do them again. Squat pull. Yeah. 4 down. One more. Let's go, baby. One more. What do you got? You got plenty. That's the answer. Just one left. What do you say? I'm keeping this bad boy on. We're finishing strong here. Yeah. We'll go straight through the list this time as written. Both squat levels. Level 2, level 3. 2, 1. 1, 2, 3. 2, 1. Front lunge. Back lunge. Front. Back. Front. Other side. Front. Back. Yeah. Front. Back. Front. Bring it back. Lunge walks. Back of the pulse. Egyptian. Difference between sumo Egyptian, your toes are out on Egyptian. They're forward on sumo. Lunge squat walks. Lunge. Squat. Lunge. Squat. With a pulse. Lunge. Yeah. Squat. Yeah. Yeah. Lunge. Yeah. Yeah. Squat. Yeah. Yeah. Sumo squat. Cardinal squat. Other side. Side lunge. 5, this side too. 1, 2, 3, 2 more. 4, 1 more. Step back. Squat. You're almost there. Side step. Squat. Short step. Short step. Pulses. Okay, let's go. Let's get a few squats. Ready? Go. 1, 2, 3, 4. On 10, we're gonna hold. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. One for good luck. Come down, hold. Almost there. Good job. Oh, it's like a weight is lifted off of me, because it was. Hey, Kavasha, let me message you that after, all right? We'll talk about that. Getting bigger quads. Hypertrophy stuff if you're looking for, obviously less reps, 4 to 8, more toward the 4 to 6 range, and more rest between sets, okay? And then at the end, you're gonna burn out with drop sets, or technically they're compound sets. A drop set is between 2 different exercises. Compounds when you drop the weight within one exercise. So we'll talk about it more. Yeah, appreciate the questions though, and I'd love to help. All right, so what do we got? Sorry, gather myself. We got a summary of B vitamins, baby. We talked about a lot. Now, I'm not going to get into the RDAs and all the function and deficiencies of all of them. We talked about them all this week. If you want to look back, go check that out, and you'll get some more information. But we're going to bring everything full circle today and hit the important things that I really want you to remember about them, okay? So we're also start then B1, all right? So when we talk about thiamine, it plays a role in glucose metabolism, right? That was a big thing. The production of some key neurotransmitters was another big one. GABA, glutamate, aspartate, and acetylcholine, I think, is what they were. And in terms of deficiency, with some big things with B1, nervous system things, dysautonomia. So dysfunction of the autonomic nervous system, right, at the level of the brainstem. So those signals controlling sympathetic and parasympathetically innervated viscera and other organs, right, are malfunctioning in a thiamine deficiency. And so what can happen? Well, take SIDS, for example, sudden infant death syndrome. Now, they're not sure the etiology or cause of SIDS to date, but they do believe that a B1 deficiency may play a role in the sense that you aren't getting that proper parasympathetic innervation to maybe the lungs or something, because the baby suddenly dies while it's sleeping, and it's a really sad thing because it's a healthy baby that never had any problems or anything like that, right? So it's a really sad sudden thing, and happens to young babies, within a year usually, and the parents wake up and they're dead in the crib, so it's a sad thing, and maybe they stop breathing throughout the night. Maybe there's deficiency. You know, it could be a lot of things. And again, they don't know the cause, but there is some speculation that it might play a role, that B1 deficiency. Now, when you think of B1 deficiency, I also want you to think of beriberi. Nervous system inflammation could lead to heart failure also, right? So other nervous system things, Wernicke-Korsakoff syndrome was one, I believe, right? I believe it is. And when you think of Wernicke-Korsakoff syndrome, once you think of somebody that's drunk, all right? Wernicke wasted, Wernicke wasted, Wernicke wasted, all right? You won't forget. And what does somebody who's wasted look like, you know? They're like, their coordination, their movement's messed up, their vision ain't so great, and they don't remember what happened last night. So memory, vision, coordination, and movement impairments, right? There you go. Now you won't forget. Wernicke-Korsakoff, you know? Also, another reason to remember to associate it with alcohol is, I know we're talking about thiamine right now, and the number one most common thing that thiamine deficiency causes, these are all with deficiency, that a deficiency causes is Wernicke-Korsakoff syndrome. But the number one most common cause of Wernicke-Korsakoff itself is alcoholism. So you alcoholics, stop it. All right. So that's another one. I think that was about it for B1 in terms of the big things. B2. What did we have aside from reducing pain? Having anti-inflammatory effects. I think it was helpful in treating TBI and preventing cataracts, right? TBI is traumatic brain injury, so if you've had concussions and stuff like that, it could be helpful to get your B2 supplementation, your riboflavin. In preventing the development of cataracts. Legs are sore, man. In the elderly, usually you see that it's a buildup of proteins in the lens of the eye, right? So what they have to do is they suck out the proteins, they'll go in there and then this way they can see better, right? Yeah, I think age is the most common cause. You see it with the elderly. But in hopes of preventing it, right? We're all about preventative things, right? Being healthy so you don't have to, don't let the bad things come, right? Do it before. And then you don't have to worry about yourself, right? Just bodes well. So in terms of being an antioxidant, reoxygenation injuries are when there was ischemia to tissue, so lack of blood flow and therefore oxygen, right? And the tissue dies, right? Necrosis. And the longer there's lack of blood flow, the more the damage, right? And you take something like, heart attack or type of stroke, right? But those types of things. But when the blood comes back and it reperfuses or reoxygenates, hence the name reoxygenation, the tissue, it's good, but it's a lot at once, and there's damage that comes with that. And, the damage a lot comes from this rapid influx, right? The tissues can't handle. And there's the production of reactive oxygen species due to the nitric oxide influx. And nitric oxide dilates blood vessels, promotes blood flow, right? So it makes sense, right? Among other things, but that's a major function. And so these reactive oxygen species, right? And these free radicals, they're there, and they have these unstable valence electron shells, and they're looking to bind something, right? They're looking to do some damage. And then B2, comes in, swoops in, and grabs them up and takes them away. We find fun ways to remember stuff, right? We always keep it light and fun. So they help to bind free radicals. That's their antioxidant function after reperfusion injury. They have anti-carcinogenic effects on colorectal cancer in women, preventing cancer, colorectal in women, preventing lung cancer. And now they won't fully prevent, but they do aid and they help in the prevention, is what studies have shown, right? I'm not saying if you have B2, you're never going to get cancer, right? But they do help to prevent it. Also, there were some studies that showed them inhibiting the metastasis of melanomas, which are very aggressive cancers. So that's an impressive statistic right there, I think. On top of that, photosensitization, B2. So what does that mean? Photo, light, it's sensitive to light for its function. So light comes in, specifically long wave radiation, and this will come in and it'll activate the B2 riboflavin to then activate other things that have great health benefiting effects, such as deactivating pathogens, right? like HIV, parvovirus, pseudorabies, E. coli, right? So those are some cool functions of B2, and I'm trying to think if I missed anything here. Migraines, they can be, B2 can be a prophylactic or preventative measure against migraines and tension headaches in the future. So something to keep in mind, right? But also supplementation with B2 of feverfew, magnesium, and Q10 is the best for preventing these migraines. So again, feverfew, magnesium, Q10, B2. If you even add just a 4-vitamin complex to help prevent migraines if you suffer from them, again, to prevent before they start, that'd be a solid thing to be taking, okay? So keep that in mind if you suffer from migraines or you know someone, a loved one that does. I think that's about it for B2. B3, another reoxygenation thing. This reperfusion injury we just talked about after ischemia, right? B3 niacin plays a role as well, and it's more of a nervous system role of serving as an antioxidant and promoting the survival of neurons, right, during this reperfusive time. So maybe more analogous to stroke type thing, right? We talked about headaches as well. Since we were just talking about them in B2, B3, similar. Hey, what up, Art Abilities? How you doing? Thanks for tuning in. B3's function's a little bit different. It's more of a vascular one. So now normally, vascular-wise, when you get these migraines or tension headaches, what precedes them is vasoconstriction of the intracranial blood vessels and vasodilation of the extracranial, peripheral, right? And that vasodilation normally when you have these migraines and tension headaches will trigger the nerves that are innervating those blood vessels, right? Because they're innervated, of course, to send nociceptive signals back to the CNS, right? Nociceptive meaning, sorry, I was getting a phone call there. I got the double call, so do not disturb this, man. Really gross. But anyway, so then that blood flow, the vasodilation of extracranial vessels promotes the nociceptive, painful signaling, goes back to the brain and says, my head, right? So you don't want vasodilation, you know? So we want the opposite, and that's where our boy B3 comes in, right? So it does the absolute opposite. So vasodilates the intracranial vessels, good, blood to the brain, sweet. And vasoconstricts the extracranial, peripheral ones. So those nociceptive signals are not firing back, and you're not in pain as much, right? And that's at least a way that B3 can help to prevent migraines and tension headaches. So again, B2, B3, feverfew, magnesium, Q10, right? We're adding to the list good things for preventing headaches. What else do we have? Wallerian degeneration. So B3 can help prevent Wallerian degeneration and hence the onset of neurodegenerative disease. If you're not familiar with Wallerian degeneration, it's the cutting or crushing of an axon of a neuron distal to the site and further from the site of injury, right? And like we said, this can lead to neurodegeneration in the future. So that's a good thing that it can do. Now, when we talk about metabolism, niacin, huge, okay? Nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide, NAD, plays a major role in metabolism. We spent a long time talking about it when we talked about B3 Day, and again, go back if you want to hear more about that, in more detail extensively, but we're not going to go through all the biochemistry and all the pathways, but plays major contributions ubiquitously throughout the body in terms of energy production, right? And, from glycolysis, when it's broken down, when you're breaking down the sugar, right, and you get the 2-pyruvate and 2-ATP as a byproduct, you also get 2-NADH, right? And that's NAD, what we're saying, B3, bound to a hydrogen, right? So that means it has more electrons. So if it's gained electrons, it's been reduced. And if it's gained electrons, it now has energy to give away to other things. So when it gets by the time to the citric acid cycle, we can use that NADH to donate energy to get the cycle to go through, right? It's like an energy investment in feeding an energy producing machine in the mitochondria, right? And then of course through the electron transport chain, mitochondrial membrane, but that's another thing. B3 deficiency, pellagra was one big one we talked about. Don't forget about pellagra, right? Dementia, dermatitis, diarrhea, 3 Ds in pellagra, all right? So that was a big thing with the deficiency of B3. When you think of B5, I want you to think of coenzyme A. And coenzyme A, B5 is a precursor for coenzyme A, and it's necessary for unanimous metabolic function as well. And you're talking especially with carbs and fats, right? And again, with that all cellular respiration we were just talking about, we won't go in again, but CoA plays a major role, you know, after glycolysis and then through the Krebs cycle, right, to make acetyl-CoA. I'm sure you've heard of that. The CoA part is CoA, right? And so that's a big thing. Prevents neurodegenerative disease onset, right? And another thing is it's hard to be deficient. It's hard to be deficient in B5 because it's found in so many things. So, you know, pretty much all forms of plant and animal food, right? B6, what do we got? Well, when you think of B6, I want you to think of a producer. You're talking the production of some key neurotransmitters, serotonin, dopamine, epinephrine, to name a few. Massive roles in the body, right? All over the place. So that's one thing with B6, helps to produce heme and B12, okay? So what's heme, right? We talked about heme the other day, but we'll reiterate the fact that heme is the non-protein portion of hemoglobin, I'm sure you've heard of, right? In red blood cells. And heme is bound to iron, and that iron is what binds oxygen when you breathe and then carries it like it's in a train in the red blood cell, right? And delivers it to the heart and other tissues, right? So we need our heme. We need our heme to be functioning, and a deficiency of B6 can lead to microcytic anemia. Smaller cell microcytic anemia, right? And the most common cause of microcytic anemia, though, is iron deficiency, of course, right? But we're talking about B6 right now. It also helps to form glucose from the degradation of glycogen, glycogenolysis, right? So it breaks down that stored glucose, which is glycogen, right? And it gives us current energy stores in the form of glucose so that we can now break it down for ATP and energy, right? And go through those pathways, which we've talked about 400 billion thousand times, right? In cellular respiration. So those I think were all the big things I can remember about B6. B7. So with biotin, one of the big things, metabolism of fats, carbs, and proteins, right? We talked about that, and the way it does that is it's a coenzyme for carboxylase enzymes, right? And now carboxylases, they add carboxyl groups to other things to promote metabolism, okay? So again, huge metabolic functions with these B vitamins. I mean, really keep that in mind, and a lot of them prevent neurodegenerative disease, right? Just keep that in mind. When you think of biotin, usually you think of hair, skin, and nails, right? But there's actually a lack of evidence to show that it has major benefits for hair and nail growth. So I just wanted to say that, you know, that's a common misconception, okay? And in addition, with biotin, I'm trying to remember here, avidin was one thing we talked about, big thing with that, right? With biotin, and avidin is a protein found in eggs. So if you drink raw eggs, eat your eggs raw, you're not cooking them, you're not heating them, and not heating them means you're not denaturing that avidin protein. You're not breaking it down. So when avidin is not broken down and active, right, what does it do? It binds biotin and prevents you from absorbing it. So cook them eggs, baby. Cook your eggs. They taste better like that anyway, and it takes 4 minutes. So there you go. Cook your eggs, people. B9. What do we got? We were talking about a couple days ago. Folate's big for preventing neural tube defects, right? In the fetus, right? During pregnancy, moms, and what was it? 1,000 micrograms was the upper limit. I know we didn't talk about any upper limits for these today, but the reason I'm bringing it up is because one of the major reasons that upper limit's there is not solely due to the deleterious effects of more biotin itself. Folate itself. Sorry, I'm losing my mind. Not more folate itself. It's the fact that it will mask a B12 deficiency. Okay? Because B9 and B12 go hand in hand. They're both involved in megaloblastic anemia, right? We know that's a big thing. And if you mask that B12 deficiency, you can have severe nervous system degeneration that is an insidious, slowly, gradually continuing thing that develops, and it's a really sad, really bad thing. So, you don't want to take too much. It could mask it. Actually, they found that that could happen up to 20-30% of the time that B12 deficiency is not reported because of over supplementation with B9. So that's a really, really big thing. We said megaloblastic anemia. This is the only one of the B vitamins that's actually better absorbed in supplement form. Usually we say eat your food, get it from the food. It has other important things in it, right, that help you absorb it and help it work right as nature intended it to. But with B9, baby, you get it from the supplements. So, again, not too much. You don't want to mask any B12 deficiency, but definitely be getting it. And you should be having more if you're pregnant, right? 600 micrograms if you're a pregnant or lactating woman as opposed to 400 micrograms a day, I believe is what it was in the average adult 19 years and older. Also, in terms of functions of B9, immune system function in that it promotes the maintenance and survival of Treg cells or T cells, not the production, maintenance and survival. They are produced by the thymus, right? But they play a major role in distinguishing self cells of your body from foreign antigens. So there's a big role to play in the prevention of autoimmune disease and hypersensitivity reactions in recognizing, self from foreign, right? Obviously we know that with the wide range of autoimmune problems, and we're going to talk about a big autoimmune problem with B12 deficiency, and that leads us right into it. B12, last one, baby. We talked about it yesterday. We'll reiterate the fact. The number one cause of B12 deficiency is pernicious anemia. What's pernicious anemia? Well, we broke down the word pernicious yesterday, right? But if you weren't with us, the Latin root of pernices means to ruin or destroy. So we know anemia is less hemoglobin or less red blood cells, right? There are many different types of anemia, and we could devote a lot of time to that. But that's another day or week. So this destruction, so how does it get its name? Well, when you have chronic gastritis or atrophic gastritis, and that's inflammation of the stomach, right? The stomach lining, it's getting, and atrophic means it's atrophied, it's actually getting degraded, destroyed, ruined, destruction, there you go. Of that stomach lining, it destroys what the stomach lining produces, and one of those major things that it produces are parietal cells, right? Or at least it contains parietal cells. And what do the parietal cells produce? Intrinsic factor, IF. Now IF, or intrinsic factor's role in all this, I thought we were talking about B12, yeah. Intrinsic factor's role is transporting B12 and aiding in its absorption, right? So without that intrinsic factor, you're not going to be able to absorb the B12, have it transported properly, and you're going to have all sorts of issues, right? So then, what happens if you don't have the B12? Well, megaloblastic anemia we talked about, right? A macrocytic form of anemia with the larger blood cells, right? And, along with B9 deficiency, right? Again, they're hand in hand. But the big thing is nervous system destruction, okay? So not only the myelin sheets in the central peripheral nervous system that surround the axons, right? If this is your axon, right? So demyelination, right? Similar to what multiple sclerosis does in that sense. But also destruction of your dorsal columns, your posterior columns, right? Of your spinal cord, that is, which send afferent sensory signals back to your brain, right? So what if you can't do that, right? What if that's getting destroyed? What if you're having problems? Well, if the way we test for that, like we said yesterday, is we do all these tests with people where they're balancing and things like that with their eyes closed, because then it's your proprioceptive awareness, your sensory, your aware, and that's malfunctioning, and those people will fall over. You'll have poor balance and coordination, memory issues, all sorts of serious neurological issues come with major B12 deficiency. And one that I didn't mention yesterday that I want to mention is the development of neurogenic joints, okay? And what are neurogenic joints? Well, you see them a lot with something like diabetes or posterior lateral sclerosis, or primary lateral sclerosis, you could also call it, PLS. And what the issue there is you can't feel. We said there's sensory issues, right? So say you can't feel what your feet are doing, okay? So now you're walking and you're slamming them really hard, right? And they're smacking against the ground, but you don't know because you can't feel anything. So you think you're just walking normal. You're out here just walking, right? But your feet are getting destroyed. You have no idea. And, it could go for any blunt force trauma, especially of distal extremities, like hands, like feet, especially, with all the weights on them all day. And then before you know it, you've got all this destruction of the joints in your feet. Your bones are battered and just getting fractures, stress fractures, and they're meshing together. You get tarsal coalition, carpal coalition, things like that, where you can't even tell the joint spaces apart. Coalition means they're all interlocking and adjoining, right? So it becomes a big mess, and it can do some severe damage, right, when you can't sense it. So get your B12, people. It's real important. Things that could cause deficiency. We said pernicious anemia is the most common, which it is, but alcoholism is another one. Any malabsorptive, issue which alcoholism promotes, and alcoholism, it causes malabsorption for just about every vitamin. So it's awful. It's poison. Don't put it in your body, unless it's in moderation, obviously, right? But yeah, those are a few things. Being vegan, vegetarian puts you at a risk for being deficient in B12 because it's found in all animal products, right? So pretty much none in plant products. So you got to get your meats and other animal products like eggs and milk, dairy milk, to be getting it. So if you are vegan or vegetarian, please supplement B12 into your diet. Just take some supplements, right? So that's a lot, and I hope you guys got something good out of that. But the last thing is, what were some sources all-encompassing? Organ meats like liver. You had liver, kidney. Eggs were a good one. Grilled chicken was another one. Nuts, seeds. Fish like salmon is another good one. So we saw that with all these B vitamins, and get those. That's B Vitamin Week. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed the workout today. Thank you very much. What are we going to talk about next week? Who knows? You guys let me know if there's anything in particular you want to talk about. I'm open to all requests, and I want to talk about something you're interested in. That's cool. All right. Thank you very much, and have a great rest of your day. We'll see you tomorrow.